Hello everybody, beginning with Introduction, Career Identity, and Assessment Reflection. My name is Jagger Gossman. I am a graduate student at Marshall University pursuing clinical mental health counseling, and my motivation to become a counselor began in high school where I wanted to be a counselor, but I ended up pursuing English instead, and after almost 2 years, I realized as much as I love the field, it just wasn't for me. And I always knew that I wanted to help people, especially after going through my own dark times in my life where I was suffering from anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts. And at the time, I thought that nobody could possibly understand how I was feeling. But once I started going to therapy, I realized that there are so many people out there just like me who are going through these things too, and that I'm not alone. And this really fueled me to pursue a career in counseling because I wanted to help others the same way that my therapist had helped me. And I think that the course assessments in this class and all of my other classes have helped shape my professional identity as a counselor because it teaches me how to properly protect clients and uphold values like autonomy and justice. And this is one of my primary responsibilities as a counselor. I also think that the course activities also expose me to a variety of theoretical frameworks that are beneficial, like CBT, trauma-informed care, person-centered therapy, and many more. Moving on to the history and philosophy of counseling. The philosophical foundation of counseling is built upon two major ideas. The first is progressivism. This is rooted in values like equality and advocacy, which drives modern social justice and multicultural counseling initiatives. Counselors adopting this stance recognize that client problems often stem from unfair environment conditions and work towards creating a more just society. The second key philosophy, this was created by Carl Rogers. This is a profound belief in a client's potential for personal growth. Rogers' emphasis on core conditions like empathy really shaped the profession and dedicated it to enhancing clients' capacity for positive change and self-actualization. And for the historical developments, the counseling profession was shaped upon two major movements. The field was initially pushed by the vocational guidance movement started by Frank Parsons, who instilled the value of helping clients make more informed career decisions, and this led to the formation of the American Counseling Association. The second was the mental health movement. This was founded by Clifford W. Beers. This movement saw a major shift after the 1960s with the rise of medication, and this pushed clients away from asylums and into more community-based centers. And this really broadened the counselor scope and emphasized a modern role on prevention, wellness, and teaching coping skills in the community. Moving on to multicultural awareness and advocacy. I think the core commitment of the counseling profession is to provide services that are responsive of different cultures, and this requires all counselors to develop multicultural counseling competence, a skill rooted in the philosophy of valuing diversity. And this demands deep self-reflection, allowing counselors to constantly work to understand their own worldview and biases. This development is also a lifelong process. This needs to be done by counselors recognizing that they're never just done with learning and they must continuously enhance their understanding. Counselors also must advocate for the counseling profession itself, and this advocacy is vital for strengthening the field by improving public perception and ensuring a more unified voice in national discussions. Moving on to credentialing, professional organizations, and policy. The two major professional counseling organizations I plan on being a part of is the American Counseling Association and the American Mental Health Counselors Association. So the ACA is the world's largest organization representing professional counselors in all practice settings and serves as the major voice of the counseling profession. The ACA aims to ensure a strong, unified professional identity, and for students, the ACA membership offers a lot of benefits like advocacy, professional development, resources, networking, and support, and access to liability insurance. And graduate school is also noted to be an ideal time to start this because it's significantly reduced student rates. And since I am pursuing clinical mental health counseling, the AMHCA represents my specific professional specialization because they focus on representing mental health counselors and advocates for client access to quality services within the healthcare industry. The AMHCA strives to be the national association representing licensed mental health counselors with consistent standards for education, training, practice, advocacy, and ethics. Moving on to labor market trends and counseling supervision. So I live in Maryland, and after looking through the Bureau of Labor Statistics, I found that Maryland has a strong labor market for clinical mental health counselors due to the shortage across the state. And this means that job prospects are great, and employment for mental health counselors is nationally projected to grow about 17% through 2034. And the national median annual wage for mental health counselors is around $59,190, but LCPCs in Maryland have an average annual pay that can range up to $87,904. Last but not least, self-evaluation, self-care, and professional growth. So some of my personal strengths right now is that I think would be beneficial to my career is that I have a strong work ethic and I hold myself to high standards and can be trusted to complete what I commit to. And I'm very internally driven to learn more and master new skills to support my growth as a counselor. And some of my limitations and growth areas is that I'm a very empathetic person, which can sometimes make it challenging to not internalize others' emotions. Sometimes I also feel pulled to go above and beyond for people, but I really want to do my best to avoid role strain and over-identifying with clients. So 2 self-care strategies I'm going to incorporate is emotional boundary check-ins, and I'll set aside 5 to 10 minutes in my day to reflect on what emotions are mine and what emotions belong to others to help prevent role strain. And I'll also create a weekly routine to make sure I have time to do things that I personally enjoy, like going on walks, going to the gym, or reading. And my one professional development goal is to strengthen my boundaries with clients while still having empathy. I'll do this by incorporating self-care strategies, and it'll help me be more confident and balanced counselor who can provide long-term and effective care to my clients. And after looking at my CPI statements and the growth I made over this semester, I think that they've really given me a clearer picture of what it truly means to be a clinical mental health counselor. And I think the readings and discussions and everything helped me add core counseling skills and then add them into my CPI statements and also begin practicing the skills that I'm talking about. And looking back at these statements also encourages self-reflection, which is essential for developing my professional identity as a counselor. And I think that the video assignment does a great job at reflecting on my emerging professional identity. And I explain my motivation to help others and how coursework helped reinforce my understanding of ethics and theoretical frameworks. I think the assignment did a good job at summarizing my foundation in progressivism and personal growth, tracing its history through the vocational guidance and mental health movements. And it also stressed the necessity of multicultural awareness and my interest in the ACA and AMHCA as key future organizations, and also presenting the labor market data for Maryland and that it's a big shortage right now. And I think the reflection was able to conclude my personal strengths and committing self-care strategies like emotional boundary check-ins and regular supervision to ensure that I become a balanced and effective counselor. Thank you.